What's up, guys? This is Praizist here, and today I bring you an AVI tutorial. This has been requested quite a bit on my Twitter, so I thought I'd just whip one right out and show you hooligans how to do it. So, not really difficult, but for those that didn't know and wanted to learn, here it is. So this is a PSD, obviously in Photoshop. If you don't know what Photoshop is, get off this video. But this is a PSD that I made for SoaR, and you can go buy one, and all the other teams that I felt like making one for in my store, selfie.com/Praizist, and I have a bunch of AVIs and other things that you guys can take apart, use, learn how to make advertisements and whatnot. But I'll have a description in this, I'll have a link to this in my description. So yeah, check it out. Pretty cheap, nothing over $5. So yeah. Okay, so here we go. So how I normally start these is that I just find a wallpaper. I first ask the people if I can use them. Normally if you're going to sell something, you have to get permission by the people that obviously made it. So this is a wallpaper that was I found it on, what is it, the Shutterstock or whatever that's called, but I won't be selling this, so. Anyways, this is just a fractal that I found online. Pretty cool looking, so I think I'm going to make something out of this. But, yeah, let's start this off. So, with my PSD, this is what it all comes with, a CC, customizable layer styles and whatnot. So you can see like the bevel on this and blah, blah, blah. So, how I like to start off, I like to duplicate the layer, put this layer underneath everything else, and turn the opacity down. This is so I can see what I'm working on, and so I can basically get what I need out of the background image. So what you do is that you start pen tooling on the top layer. That is at 47% opacity, and you start pen tooling out what you want. So since I want a more 3D abstract look, I will go for objects that are going around and in between the logo and like this, the shapes that make up the logo. That'll make it a lot easier on you, and it'll just look better overall. So here, we'll do that one. We'll do, what other one should we do? And what you can do, like, if you don't really like how the background is, you can always move it and adjust it however you want. So what I did, I just moved it up a little bit so I can get more like this. So I'm gonna get this little guy out. Just pen tooling around. Also, I'm using a stylus and a tablet. It's a Wacom tablet, so I'll be making another video soon if this video gets, like, I don't know, 15, 20 likes, and I'll show you guys the difference between brushes and tablet and mouse and whatnot. But for now, I'll just do this. Okay, so I have two already. I can see basically like where like the outline of where those will be. So maybe get like one or two more, and then we can move on from there. Also, I apologize if you guys can hear like the clicking or whatever. I don't really have a very good mic, so I'm using my phone. Improvising on a college kid budget. So, okay, there's that one. Copy, paste. And let's do, I don't know, one more. I think one more would be good. But with these, you can really do however many like you want, because I mean it is obviously your creation. So make this as 3D as possible. So let's get that one right there. And okay, I think that'll be good for now. So let's see what all these look like at full opacity. Alright, so it doesn't look too bad. Looks basically how it should. And you can go through and touch up what you need with the brush tool or the eraser tool. And you can go through and touch it up so it doesn't look so pen tooled. Looks more natural. I should be an advertiser for makeup. I could sell that. I could sell it real good. So there we go with this one. Okay. And I don't know. I think that's about all of those. I can do this one a little bit. Make them as sharp looking and realistic as you can, because I mean that's obviously the purpose of these. And since I already have one of these copied, and you can basically manipulate it however you want, you can do something like this and basically like make, in a sense, your own variations of the changes in like the background over top of the logo. It just gives it more of a realistic feel. So yeah, I feel like that looks okay. So what else you can do is you can keep on doing that by just Control J on a PC, which is what I'm on. Just make your own little dudes. Just erase so it blends more. And then you can make another layer. Clipping mask it. I think do like black. Just so it blends in more, and then lower the opacity. That way it looks a little bit more natural. And I don't know, I think it just looks better. And just try your best to make it as real-like as you possibly can. So like with that obviously doesn't look very real. So you gotta erase and hope it turns out alright. So with this, I'm just making it look more manipulated, I guess you could say. So it wraps around the logo instead of looking like you're making the logo wrap around the background. You see? You see? I will teach you how to see, my people. Okay, so we have that. Cool, we got the background a little bit manipulated. So, now what I do is I can turn down the background just so it makes more of a, what's it called, Vignette around the background, and so it's lighter around the logo. And so I make another layer and make their own shadows underneath the logo, which is also very important just to give it more of depth, I guess you could say. And since you copied and pasted the little splines or whatever these are, you're gonna have like these little variations in colors. As you can see here, you can see clearly that there's like a cut and a gap, so it's obviously gonna be a little bit lighter there. So you're gonna want to erase just so it doesn't look so discolorated, along with all the other ones around it. Since I already did like the black down here, it looks more faded in, so you won't have to worry about that. But these AVIs, the reason I did a lot of these is because in this community I don't really see very many people putting in too much effort into them. So, and why not? I mean, I'm making money off of it, and you can too if you learn how to do this. So, hopefully this is helpful. Let's do this one up here. There. So it looks a little bit more natural right there. Because you have to understand lighting and such with the background and underneath. So right now I'm just making the underlaying level of the logo darker, just because lighting, and if you don't understand lighting, then it's fairly difficult to know how to do that, but you are all fairly capable children. Alright, so we have this right now, just wrapping around, and cool. Alright, I think that is that with shadows on the logo. But now we can go back and finish up this and make these not look so stupid. So like what I basically do, I just play around and I just see if I can get a certain look that I'm looking for. I mean, obviously this isn't really close to being done yet, but it's looking alright. So, okay, now we're done with that. We got it pretty well blended with the color scheme and such. So now we add shadows of the little splines, or whatever these are called. Depending on your light source though, so I'm probably going to have it coming from up here. You're going to want to make the shadows go below, like the areas where you think the light would be coming from. So, like so. Obviously this isn't going to be what it looks like, because you're going to do, after you're done with all those, you can just do filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and blur just a little bit, not too much, probably like 14, and then turn it down just a wee bit, and it looks a little bit more real, as if it's being wrapped around the image instead of obviously the image being wrapped the background. So, and this is for my friend, who is this for? This is going to be for Ethos? Yeah. Gotta remember that. Ethos. Okay, so there we go. There's that. Gonna adjust the darkness a little bit. Alright, so we got the name down, we got the background wrapped around. Now we just need to make the logo look more blended, I guess you could say. Because this does not fit the background, because there's blues, there's yellows, there's oranges, and whatnot. So, what I would have you do would be either do color overlay or gradient, but I'd probably do a gradient because it matches well. It looks more natural. I mean, there's no absolute color in nature, so wouldn't really make sense. And when this happens, you just have to just eyeball it. I don't know how else I can really say this, but you have to just find colors that mix and match. And if you can't, I'll show you another way that will be a little bit easier for you. Let's do something like maybe like this. I don't know. Nah, I won't do that. So since we hit a little bit of a roadblock, I can show you a little cheat that you can do. You just copy and paste the background image, and you can turn that into a texture. By blurring and hopefully making it into something that you like. Because if not, then you're kind of stuck. A lot of this just takes practice and time and blah blah blah. But so something like this you can do. What I also like to do is change up the colors. So I can basically do, like, let's say, change this to like that more orangey. I think maybe something. This is probably the hardest part, is making the logo look presentable in the background. Still doesn't look quite good. So we can probably do. This is, like, honestly the best way to learn how to do something, because if it's just trial and error. That's all you have to do when it comes to these type of things, and seeing what makes what is good looking to your eye, I guess. That'll really help you. So let's see if we can make this any better. There's always room for improvement also, so even I, for doing this as long as I have been, I still need some help every once in a while. So never feel afraid to ask, or to look up, or Google how to do something, because I mean everybody has to do that at some point in their life. Okay, there we go with that. Oops. Merge those two layers. Alright, cool. So we have this color. I mean, it's kind of brown and gross, but it is a color. Not too bad, but here, we can make it more texturized with this and desaturate it. And maybe do something like, just try to find something that just goes with it. Not, like, it shouldn't set it like apart from the background, but just make sure it blends well, instead of throwing the eye off. So if it throws the eye off, then the whole point of this thing is kind of thrown away. Okay, cool. There we go. Okay, so we have this so far. Let's see if we can't make this a little bit brighter though. Okay, that'll be good for now. So, okay. Adjusting the shadows a little bit. Maybe I can erase this a little bit more. All of this is just, it's just extremely tedious, and I understand why a lot of people don't like to do it, but everything in life, if you include a little bit more effort, it'll look so much better than what you believe it would be. So, always try your best, kids. I know I sound like a parent, but I am. I'm your father. So, we got that. Woo! Yay! Let's see what else we can do. We can probably add more realistic looking things, like a little bit more shadows and whatnot and blah blah blah. I could make this darker if I wanted to, but Okay, yep, alright, cool. Yay. Okay, so we have that. We have the color correction. Let's see what this color correction is. That looks cool, but when in doubt, I can always use, or you can always use, my pack. There's a bunch of color corrections in here that I use that will help out your work. Just drag this on over. This is also in my store, so feel free to go check it out. Fairly inexpensive, like I have to say, everything's like everything's like $5. So go check it out. I think I'm gonna do this. That actually looks nice. Looks more of a darker, deeper color. I like that. Let me turn this down a little bit. There we go. Nice little mix. Looks like more earthy tones, which I kind of like that. And let's add more shadow on this. That just kind of looks fake. Adding shadows. What else can we do? We can do more shadows over here. So as I said, just do what looks good to you. Always, always, always. You never want things to just look out of proportion just because you either missed it or something like that. Just something stupid that you can easily fix. So there we go. We got that. Yippee. Okay, so after I do that, and I have everything about what I want it to look like, besides one other thing. Hang on 1 second. This all just takes practice, just like everything else. Knowing where your eye is going to look and what sticks out and how to fix it. So bear with me. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. Crank that soldier boy up. Okay, there we go. Now I like to group everything, and then so I have everything in just one big group, and then duplify the group and then merge it, and then just cover that up. That way I can just work with what I have now instead of having to go back. Well, I can go back. This gives me the opportunity to go back, so I'll just name this AVI, whatever, and it doesn't really matter, but I just get like the whole merge thing, and then I make a duplicate, I blur, and this is mainly for just effects. This is mainly for effects. So it's a fairly cool thing that you can do is you can make things look a little bit more real, I guess you can say, if you know what you're doing, obviously. But if you know how blur works, you can see the obvious difference between some of the background and then the things that aren't blurred. This also just takes a trained eye to know what to look for when it comes to blurring things. So that looks like about good to me. Still having a little bit of blur and making the logo stick out a little bit more than the background. Okay, so that's about good. Duplicate that. Do some curves maybe. You gotta love them curves, boy. And do something like this. That's cool. A little bit dark though, so we're gonna lighten up the opacity a little bit. About 36%. Merge all those layers, duplicate. Okay, now this is where you add some color. You get something like the main colors, get a brush, I get a nice flat soft brush and do something like this on the colors that are the same. I can do about that too. Just have fun with it. You put on linear dodge and then blur, gauge and blur, something like that, so it looks more of like a glossy, I don't know how to say it, a specular, I should say. There we go. More of a specular. Give it more of something to look at. Something that sticks out. Okay, that's cool. Alright, so now that we have that, I'm going to go back over to my exclusive pack and add some more realistic things to it, like a flare. Adding flares really helps with the whole organic, reflective look. So I like to add a lot of more realistic things, such as flares and particles and things that people would use back in 2012 because I'm a nerd, but makes things look a little bit better in my opinion. Makes it look realer, less, if realer is even a word, a lot less, I don't know, I kind of just like it. You can just add it wherever you'd like, but I have certain places I like to put them. Make the text glow a little bit. Turn this down just a wee bit. So also, if you don't like something like the background, what you can do is basically adjust, knowing how things look. So you can just put like a base color from the background over top of it. Because I didn't like how that looked with the flare. So this is why I've been painting a lot, because it really helps that you can just paint over what you don't like and make your own type of thing. Just like that. So that looks more natural than what it did before. See? And putting the flare on looks a little bit better. So along with that, you can starting to look a little bit better. So that's good. Group all that, merge. Always do that so you can go back and you can see the clear differences between the two. But I like to add a little bit of vibrance just to give it a little bit of a healthier look. Cool. Okay. So that's done. Now the next type of thing, or next filter that I like to use is Topaz. It's fun to use, especially if it, like some of your stuff is a little bit more pixelated than the others. So have low strength on. I do about 2 or 1. There we go. 2 or 1, either one. Huh, get it? But we can bring it down to about 50%, something like that. Makes things look a little bit smoother, I guess you could say. Yeah. Oh, so this flare is a little bit strong, right? So since I messed up, I can go back, look through that, bring the vibrance along with that other group that I made. But since I saved it, I can go back and adjust without having to rip my hair out because I'm retarded and I forgot to put that. So since I did, voila, I can just add it all back in. And now do it. Topaz clean, and just redoes the filter. Turn it down to about 29, something like that. Something so it's a bit smoother. And now I like to do a little bit more of lighting. Everything goes into play with this. So lighting, you can do something like this. Just where you know that it will be darker and where it will be brighter. Just turn down way down there. Erase around the text, just because obviously that's one of the main things that needs to stick out. And what else can I do? Just do like little things like that, I guess. Looks a little bit more natural. Because reflection always hits off everything else. So, what else? Ooh, sorry. We can do a little bit more down here just to make that look better. Okay, so you have this. You have a product like this, and other filters that I like to do, which I'll probably do this, is duplicate the layer, filter, noise, add noise. Probably do about either, depending on the size, I like to do, let's say, probably like 0.5 or something. Something like that. So it's not, I mean, it's fairly subtle, but it still gives you like more of a feel. Probably, I'll do this. Probably do like 7.5 or something. Noise, add noise, 0.75. Let's do that. So it gives it more of like a dirty look. I mean, this is a more natural background, so it'll fit more. And so you have that. Duplicate the layer, and every once in a while I like to add a little bit of RGB, just because the contrast between the dark colors and the bright colors, it'll add a little bit more of a texture to it. So you can see more of what you have made as to like the background where you can't really see it as well. So there's that. Duplicate, filter, and then I like to sharpen. So yeah, that's about this. That's about all I can say about this. Merge it all, and then you set it to 99% opacity. Well, sometimes I like to do a little bit of a display, duplicate, and then, well, after I crop. There we go. Always crop. Cropping's nice. And then bring it down just a little bit to present. And then, oops. I'll keep one layer a little bit hidden. And then bring that down. Bring the back. Enlarge it a beat, just a wee bit. Gaussian blur, and there you go. You can present your little AVI that you made for somebody. Merge it all, and then set to 99% opacity. So then when you post on Twitter, it'll be like high quality, and it'll look a lot better. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please leave a like. I'll probably upload I have another video in mind that I'll probably do about brush settings and a tutorial on how to do certain things with digital painting. But if you guys enjoyed this, please leave a like. And 15, I'll do a new video. But without further ado, check out my links in the description, and have a wonderful day. Soar up, kiddos.